Insta lovelies, how are you? So good to see you. Hey there, my gorgeous Facebook lovelies. So good to see you too. We are live on Instagram. We're live on Facebook. I'm Donna Hoffman. They call me the Interior Design Advocate because I erase the ugly room. I get rid of that frustrating result and I empower you, you gorgeous, savvy design lover you, with systems and strategies thanks to the amazing online courses that I offer to my amazing community. Yes, once you have been part of our Facebook community or our Insta community or in one of our classes or online courses or one of our online workshops, you are our peeps. You are a design diva. Yes, and you deserve to have a gorgeous home. And what I always say to women across the country and beyond in interior design, it's not about what you spend. It's about what you do with what you spend. And that's where strategy is the lifeline. It's not about one-off ideas here and there. It's about a complete path. Do this, 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 and this, what you're doing, why you're doing it, when you're doing it, and how to do it. That's what we're about here at the Interior Design Advocate. And when I'm not running my luxury, when I'm not running my, my online coaching brand, brain's a little fried today, I'm running a luxury interior design company where I do everything from single room projects for amazing families and people and couples, or whole home and renovations and design builds. I do it all. So what are we talking about today? Today we're talking about a topic that is so overlooked. You guys, if you've ever walked past the bare walls in your home and thought, what the bleep do I put on that wall already? Or, I need something over my sofa, or I need something better in my bedroom right there. And you just feel like you're not pulling it all together. Let me tell you something. Artwork on the wall has a massive, and I mean massive, make or break ability in every room, in any home, in any design style, truly. And if you're thinking, yeah, well, I need a really rich uncle to leave me in his will to be able to do something important looking, not so, my love, not so at all. It's not about what you spend, it's about what you do with what you spend. So in this Insta Live and Facebook Live, we're going to be talking about, I'm going to be sharing 5 things you need to really think about to pick out the right artwork. It doesn't matter what it costs. It matters that it's the right piece. I don't care if you get it from Home Goods, Home Sense, your own home up in the master bedroom, or you steal it from your own guest room. I don't care if you get it from your mom's house. I don't care if you buy it at Harrods in London or the best art gallery in Paris. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you love it. And what it matters is that it's the right piece, size, context, the right colors, the right essence for where you need to hang it. So here are 5 tips, and I'm glad to take your questions while I'm here live, as long as on this topic, on artwork for your projects, for your home. As long as I don't need to see a picture to be able to answer you well, I am happy to take your questions. So, okie dokie, let me teach, and then you can ask your questions. But if you're smart, you'll put in your questions while I'm teaching so I can get to you. Alrighty, and by the way, I miss you guys. It's so good to be back. Hope everybody had a little R&R over the last couple of weeks while I was R&Ring. Alrighty, so one of the first things I want you to know, if you want to make your spaces look really elegant and rich, right? I always see people asking that question. How do I make my home look expensive? One thing you want to avoid with your artwork, and I mean avoid this, you do not want to put up artwork that is a copy of a famous painting. Do you know where a Renoir painting should be hung? In a museum with a fancy French name. Do you know where Van Gogh's cypress tree should be hung? At the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. Love that museum. If you want to do something that looks really bespoke and fabulous, it can come from any resource. It doesn't have to be an expensive piece of art, but make sure you're not trying to copy one of the masters. Let the masters be where they belong in the museum. It'll look immediately kind of cheesy if you have these reproductions in your home. Now, that said, I have seen people, interesting things done by artists where they take a piece of a famous painting and blow it up and do weird, cool things to it, kind of modern. That's not what we're talking about. You know what I'm talking about. When you see you know, a Degas painting of the, I don't know, the ballet dancers, whatever. Okay, so we got that point. I don't have to beat a dead horse here. Number two, you want to try, if you can, with your wall art, if you can, you want to vary the medium. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that rather than having everything behind glass, you might say, oh, you know what, I want something to be on canvas. Now, listen, guys, there's this thing called a giclée, Giclee, I think it's called. It's canvas that has been printed to look like a painting. That's really what you're buying when you're in Home Goods or Home Sense, right? So don't have everything in on canvas. Don't have everything behind glass, like framed posters or framed prints. Vary the medium. You might even want to have things, let's say you're doing something that's a little more industrial or boho. You might have like a cool piece of metal artwork on the wall, right? It doesn't even have to be something that's framed. Doesn't have to be a painting, in other words. It's wall art, so it can be more sculptural. Doesn't have to be behind glass. It can be mixed media, I should say. It can be like a decoupage. It can be photography, right? You just don't want everything to be the same throughout your whole home. Now, that said, how do you pick out the right piece for the space? Well, one of the things you have to think about is size, proportion. This is probably one of the biggest errors that people make. In fact, last night I had a great meetup online with some of my most dedicated and more advanced Design Divas students, and I get to talk to them live on camera. We're talking to each other, and I'm looking at their projects and drawing on them and so forth, looking at their pictures. And one of the living rooms that one of my Design Divas showed me was really nice jobs coming along, but the artwork just zapped the space. It was a lot of little itty bitty things just sort of broadcast through the space. The only way to take itty bitty and make it look good on a wall is if it's clustered in a way that the weight of one piece starts to add to the weight of the other piece. But if you want to do what you see on Pinterest and House in those professional rooms that you're trying to emulate, right? You want to think about getting your scale properly up there so that things are sized well in relationship to the thing it's hung next to, near, or above. So over a sofa, you don't want a little dinky thing. You really want one large piece or two companion pieces or maybe three as a triptych kind of thing. That's really what's going to get you that better, beefier, more exciting look. And again, it doesn't have to be expensive. You can find sources near you or online to help you do these kinds of things. But the other thing, here's another tip. You want to consider the context in terms of color. I want you to look at your room in total and ask yourself, given the color palette and the vibe I have going on here, do I want to have color in my artwork? Do I want the color in the artwork to kind of be the big splash in the space? With my student, we talked about bringing color that she was craving into her space with some artwork. Again, it doesn't matter where she gets it, what the price is. It's just what colors does she want in that artwork, and then she can go out and find it. So you want to think of in context in terms of color. Now, if you have an uber modern home with white walls and you are just all about the artwork, well, then you can really be all over the place, right? With color and subject matter, which we'll talk about in a sec. But if you have a more restrained style that you're doing and you're really trying to control your palette and the vibe in a room, you are going to think about what colors would look good here. Do I want black and white photography here? Do I want a black and white image? Maybe I want something with a little bit of color. Maybe I want something very washed out. When I design a space and I'm looking at somebody's existing artwork, I'm thinking, what will really enhance a room? You want your artwork to enhance the space that it's in. Even if it's in a connective hallway, do I need color here? I want you to ask yourself that question. If the answer is yes, what do I want that color to be? And then the other tip in terms of context, you want to think about subject matter. If you're doing a little girl's room, you might do little ballet slippers. If you're doing, your living room, that beachy, driftwoody, landscape of the beach in the white frame really may not be ideal, even though you already own it and it came with you from your prior residence. So you really want to think about context. Does this subject matter? Yeah, it might be something you love, but does it also work in the design style and the surroundings you're putting it into, right? And then the last tip I'll give you, I think I'm up to 6 now, but what the hey. Don't blow it on the frame. Get the framing right. Not everything has to be framed. If you have something stretched on canvas, you want a hip, more modern leaning look, don't frame it. That's called a gallery wrap when the image goes around the edge. You'll save money, by the way, if you're shopping online for things or even using an artist's services if you don't have to then, itchy nose, hang on. If you don't then have to pay to frame. Framing gets pricey, but you can go to craft stores and such to do framing as well, like a Joann's. But when I say don't blow it on the framing, the frame you select needs to do 2 things. It needs to relate to the art itself, the image itself, somehow in terms of color, and it has to relate to the surroundings you're in. Steve and I went out to lunch. The restaurants have finally opened up for some indoor seating. It's a whole other bowl of weirdness out here. But anyway, and I'm enjoying the restaurant, and Steve, my non-designer husband, says, look at that piece of artwork. What do you think is wrong with it? And I said, okay, well, what do you think is wrong with it? He said, I don't like the framing. I don't think the framing works in the context of the design of this restaurant. I happen to have disagreed with him. I thought it was an okay choice, not the best choice, but not terrible. It was really bugging him though. But anyway, the point is framing. You want to make sure that the framing has context to the design of the space you're in, the image itself, and also if it's in a space with other artwork on adjoining walls or walls that are nearby. Sorry, I have coconut in my teeth. Do you want to make sure that the frames are in conversation with each other? The same? No. In conversation, within maybe the same range of color, within the same range of style. That makes sense? All right. So if you have a question about artwork in your home, if you're stymied about something artwork related, please put your question in. I'd be happy to take it. And I want to tell you about something really cool we're doing for you. I just created a really wickedly wonderful artwork cheater guide. It's what did I actually title it? It's so good, I can't remember the title. Creating Wall Art When You Don't Own Any, and Other Great Wall Art Know-How and Hacks. And it's not about having any talent. You have other people create it for you, but this is a fire hose of ideas. And we had intended initially to just make it available to certain students of ours who are in a particular course. And I looked at my team and I looked at Steve. I said, you know what? This info is too good to not make it available to everybody. So for a short time, we are going to make the Artwork Cheater Guide available to you at an amazing price as well. So it's a fire hose of ideas. If you need artwork and you feel frustrated, you're working on a budget or no budget, you really want to know how this art game works and what you can do to really make amazing things happen in your home, you're going to love this. So I've posted a link for you guys here on Facebook, or you can go to the address mydesigncpr.com/artwork. mydesigncpr.com/artwork, or the link that we put up on Facebook, and Insta will have it in if you swipe up. No, there's no swiping yet. Soon though, we're almost at 10,000. We're almost swipeable if you go to the link in bio. Okay, so if you have questions, happy to take those. I'll put on my glasses. I got to take a little diet not seltzer, tonic. If only there was a little something else in here too. I'm such a show off. I'm such a teetotaler. Me and my vodka fumes. I have this drink I made up. It's called a vodka fume. When I get together with my design divas for that Monday night online, design session we do, I put a whole cap full of vodka into this glass. It's not even a shot because it's a work night. And I call it a vodka fume because Steve says, there's no vodka in there. Was it like you can smell like a little perfume scent of vodka? So one of my students said, Don, I went into a bar and I tried to order a vodka fume. Nobody ever heard of it. I said, of course I didn't hear of it. It's a crazy idea that I had. So anyway, I'm drinking a vodka fume virgin light. Nothing. There's nothing in there other than the seltzer. Alrighty, so Jennifer is here and she is ready for today's tips. Jen, hope you loved them. Bobby's here from upstate New York. Yay, I went to college up there. Froze, but loved it. Ann is here. I'm getting hellos from Texas, from Karen. Hello, Karen and Ann. Diane in Florida is saying hello, hello, and hello to Janet, and hello to all of my Insta Gorgeous girls out there as well. Jane is saying hi from Florida and New Jersey. I don't even know how Jane is doing that. She's kind of teleporting something. She's in 2 states. Interesting. All right. Jerry from Miami is here. All right. General hello to everybody. We got the whole country here. I'm loving it. From Georgia to Michigan. Okay. So Jean is saying, Donna, how high over the furniture piece do you hang artwork? Great question. Big mistake everybody makes. Everybody goes way too high. Do you remember, little things happening and dinging. Do you remember I told you that you hang artwork relative to the thing it hangs over, next to, or near? Well, the reason you do that is because the artwork has to connect to something, unless it's on a bare wall, and then it's hung in context to the openings around it, right? So it's still hung relative to something. But when you're hanging artwork over a piece of furniture, I like to be 6 inches above that piece of furniture as a starting point. There are times I will go lower than that. Over a sofa, I don't tend to go lower than that because everybody's got to be able to do this with their arm on the back of the sofa. You don't want people banging into the artwork. I might go slightly higher, maybe 7 inches, maybe 8 inches. But it's so hilarious when I've got a great guy that I use to hang my artwork. He's fast. I blew my lower back a couple of years ago picking up really heavy flooring samples wearing high heels. Dumb. And so ever since that time, I hire other people to kind of lift and bend. So when Chris is hanging things, he'll start to lift something up and he'll say, I know, 6 inches. And I'll say, look, try it higher. And you look at how terrible it looks. And he always says, you're right. So 6 inches is a really good starting point, Jean. And then if I'm in a 2-story space, some of you have 2-story family rooms, you might over a fireplace go slightly higher because of that 2-story rush that you have, but do not go so high that you're trying to make up space. It doesn't work. The artwork will look like it's floating in the middle of nothing. Do you know who can get away with having like big 2-story spaces with cool and wild artwork installations with artwork hanging over nothing on big empty walls? Hotels. It's a real cool, done in the right way with the right scale artwork. It can be very edgy and kind of commercial looking, but it'll look odd in your home. So 6 inches as a starting point. You might go an inch higher, inch lower. See how that is for you, Jean, okay? I'm sure there's a shorter way to say that. Maybe I'm getting a little buzzed on my virgin diet tonic over here. Who knows? It's just been that kind of day. Cheryl is saying, what artwork, other than a print or canvas for a big wall, what size does it need to be compared to the wall size? Cheryl, I'd need to see a picture to tell you what size it needs to be compared to the wall size, but oh my gosh, there's so much you can do. You can do framed fabric. You can do framed wallpaper. In fact, the Artwork Cheater Guide, I have a fire hose of, it's literally a checklist of idea after idea after idea. I'm just trying to think of some of the things that are in there for you. And other than prints, I mean, there's some really cool vintage metalwork, like grill work, that is really interesting looking. It depends upon your design style, right? For some of you, that would be absolutely horrible. For some of you, that could be perfect. So hopefully, Cheryl, those few ideas will kind of get you going. And you might want to check out that Artwork Cheater Guide because it's just a flood of ideas. And the great part is you just kind of check off the ones you want to explore, and then you have places to go back. And I even gave you some interesting resources to find things in there as well. Jane is saying, how do you pull a wall color paint from a picture to make the room come together? Jane, you smarty pants, that is such a good question. One of my design divas was doing that last night in her family room. Yeah, I love doing that. Jane, don't just do the wall color. You could do a pillow, and that looks amazing. Yes. So what you want to do, Jane, it depends upon the artwork itself. So is it a primary color? By primary, I don't mean yellow, red, blue. I mean, is it a main color in the painting you want to pull out? Or is it a secondary color? Or a minor color, like a tertiary, like in third place, right? It's really powerful when you take a minor color and you make it an accent in a room and you repeat it in an accessory or in a pillow, right? Which is a soft goods accessory. For those of you who've taken my design CPR course, you know that already. But to answer you, Jane, how do you do it? I want you to think about what color you're trying to pull. If you're doing bare, lighter walls, obviously you're going to go with a lighter shade. If you're doing something deeper, you'll pull out something deeper, and just get your paint deck up there and start matching. And I would do some swatching though, because paint decks, as we talked about in my group last night, paint decks are printed as opposed to, so you can't, they're printed rather than mixed in a paint medium. It's in the paint medium that you get all the colors that make that paint, and that's what gives you your undertone. And you can't really read undertone accurately in a paint swatch. So printed paint swatch. So Jane, hopefully that'll help you. But it is a powerful device, and designers, we do it all the time, taking artwork and making it look intentional. And let me tell you, I did this on a budget in a little apartment in New York with a little teeny apartment, like the size of a postage stamp, and a giant piece of artwork from HomeSense. And it looked great. That the sofa color came right out of this painting. So cool. Found that on Wayfair as well. So again, when you guys say, oh, Donna, you're a luxury designer, what do you know? What do I know? I know how to work on a budget. You don't start out working in the luxury world. You start out working on shoestring budgets as you're building your book. And you know, there it is. I have more to say on that topic, but let's answer more questions. There you go. Jane, let me know if I answered you sufficiently. If you have a more specific follow-up, babe, put that in. Lisa's saying hello. Hello, Lisa. More hi. Susan Green is saying hi. Hello from New York City. Yay, my old hometown. That's from Keisha. Hi, Keisha. All right, Susan is saying, my living room has a high sloped ceiling, about 20 feet high. What do I put on the huge wall? Susan, what huge wall? I would like to know. I'd like to see what you're talking about there. So I can't answer you, okay? Sounds like you need something big in scale, or you need multiples of something. Okay, like a grid, a gallery grid. Becky is saying she's late, but she's here from Birmingham. Becky, you can always find all of our deliciousness. If you have missed any portion of this, you can always find us. Not there, not there. Here. You can always find us on YouTube. So, and we always post what the topic was. I don't think we do time codes though in questions anymore, right? Anyway, the Interior Design Advocate on YouTube. There we are. So there it is. Okay, so Anna's saying, what is your opinion of using a 4-panel folding screen as art? I love it. In fact, you guys, you can use a 4-panel screen or a 3-panel screen as artwork. You can keep it flat behind a sofa. You can have it, you know, behind a big baby grand piano, whatever, you know, where it's actually doing its fold. And you can make your own. Yes, you could do it with really cool wallpaper, but not just any wallpaper. You use muraled wallpaper. Whew, that looks good. Or you can stretch fabric on it too. You can upholster it. So that's really a great question, and hopefully that helps you. All right, so thank you, Anne, for that question. Sandra is saying, I ordered the inspiration print for our open concept project. I will hang it over the fireplace. The print is 27 wide by 19 high. Can you suggest the minimum frame size to make an impact? You know, I'd have to see this is a great question, Sandra. I'd really need to see, or Sandra. We have a Sandy in our office. When I tease her, I call her Sandara, but she's really Sandra in my New York accent. But anyway, Sandra. How big your frame should be is kind of relative to the art piece and where you want to use it. And is this something that's getting matting? This is a whole lesson in and of itself, and a very visual lesson. We should probably do a video on this. Your matte color should relate to the art piece, not to the room primarily. First you look at the piece, but I always think that artwork on it with a very neutral matte looks much more high-end than colorful mattes. The only time I would do colorful mattes is in a children's room, and I'm trying to really make a big statement, you know, kind of a punchy little statement that way. Or if I'm doing something with a black matte in a very artsy something, like with black and white photography, another discussion. But anyway, so your matte and then your frame size also has something to do with your total image size, and also where you want to use it. So Sandra, if I'm trying to cheat to make something a little bit bigger than it really is, I might beef up my matting a little bit, and I might beef up my framing a little bit. I think the best thing to do, honestly, is you go to a frame store, you bring your image with you, you spread it out, and you just start putting down in the corners, just put down different frames that you like. Usually frames are shown in little corners like this, you know, as a sample. And then, you know, back away, do this with one eye and see what looks good on that piece, whether you're matting or maybe you're not matting, if it's an oil or a canvas, right? So with a 27 by 19, 27 by 19, 27 by 19, 27 by 19. So if you're 27, I don't think I would do anything less than, I mean, I think a 4-inch would actually be, you know, there's where I'm bending, there's my 4. I think a 4-inch would probably be kind of dramatic and cool. I think 6 inches might be overpowering with this, Sandra, so hopefully something in there. A 2, I think, would be really too little. So there you go. Without seeing it, those are my early instinct answers. Hey, Insta, if you got questions, you can zip them over to me. Steve will take care of you. I don't want you to think I'm favoring my lovelies on Facebook. I love all my divas, loved it equally. So there it is. Daphne is saying, what's your opinion of wall murals? You know, Daphne, I talked a client out of that recently. I love them in nurseries. I love them in children's rooms. I think they're cool in playrooms. I don't love them in adult spaces. I think that when you tire of them, you are so tired of them, and now you've got it on your wall and you've got to repaint everything. I would rather see you do large scale art. Someone I know has a buddy who's a painter, like artistic painter, not a wall art painter, and he wanted to do a mural. I said, you know what? Why don't we ask him if he can do a giant canvas for you? And he did this big oversized canvas. It was a butt pain to get to her home. So you hire the guy, somebody to transport it, because it was big. But it looks great, and it's dramatic on this very big bare wall in this tricked out basement. And this way it looks like a really cool upscale piece of art as opposed to a mural. So that's my opinion on murals. Is that, you know, the word of heaven? No, that's my opinion. So if you really want a mural, I'll still love you. But that's how I view it as a designer. All right, so more hellos from all over the place, from Shannon and Denise and Kimberly and Lila. Hi, girls, and Lori. Great to see you. And more hellos over there. It's great to see my Insta girls. Okay, Insta is saying, oh, it's an off-topic. Sorry, I'm not taking off-topic questions because I'm getting questions on topic, so I'm going to keep going on topic. Sorry, A-Robs. But it's a good question. What's the best way to pick a shade for a lamp? I should really answer that. If I have time at the end, I'll answer you. Okay, hang on. Questions from, more like hellos from Stone Mountain and Boynton, highs and hellos. Okay, more hellos. Hi to everybody. Question from Lori. I have a curved headboard with rectangular artwork. It just doesn't look right to me. Is that okay? Curved headboard with rectangular artwork. It just doesn't look right to me. Well, Lori, what did you want instead? Like a big round, like a starburst kind of mirror? That kind of thing? You could try that. I don't have a problem with what you're describing, but here's my thing, Lori, on hanging artwork above the headboard. I don't think you always need it. I really don't. I think sometimes it doesn't do anything, and I think it's sometimes better to just have some negative space over the headboard, let the headboard be the thing, and then do something great on either side of the bed. If you have two, twin nightstands, you can do some cool artwork on leaning or hung on those nightstands. So dressing the headboard further, I think sometimes it's kind of like overkill. So maybe you just don't need it, is what I'm saying too, Lori. Maybe that's why it's bothering you. But the shape that you're describing, curved headboard, rectangular art piece, I don't have a problem with that in theory, but I'd have to see it to be able to tell you why it is a problem, if it is a problem, okay? But good question, Lori, thank you. Monica is saying, what do you think of layering artwork? Love it! For example, covering the corner of one piece with another piece. Monica, if you were here, I'd hug you. Have to put on a mask to do it, but I do it anyway. I really want to try this, Monica is saying, but I don't know what kind of hardware to use. Oh, Monica, okay, ooh. You're not layering on the wall. It's kind of cool boho thing to do, if that's the look you're going for, here's what I would do, Monica. You hang one piece, and then you lean something else in front of it. It's called stacking. So good looking. It's good looking. You can do it with a hung, you have a mirror hung, and then a piece of artwork hangs, just leans in front of it. Something smaller, obviously, right? You've got to play with proportion, but such a good look. I love doing that. I do that a lot in my own home, and I do it in clients' homes when they'll let me. Steve, what is that notification? Do you even know what that is? He's saying, he doesn't know, and give me that look like, I don't know, and I don't want to know. Thanks for nothing over there. All right, so Monica, I hope I helped you. If not, send in a follow-up. Becky is saying, what about artwork on a stairwell? Yes, no, rules. Yes, got to be the right artwork, right proportion, right color, right context. Ask yourself, Becky, if you need it. There's something to be said. I know we're talking about the power of artwork, and we are, but there's something to be said for negative space. That's a rest. It's where nothing is there, because you have to let the eye skim past things so it goes someplace else where you want it to go. So if you feel like you need to dress your stairwell, if your stairwell is huge, go for it. I don't think it's a bad idea. It's just not the first thing I think to do on a stairwell. I'm usually thinking more about other elements in and around that stairwell, like the balustrade and the banister and the runner that's going up there, and great artwork at the top of the stair or in the foyer before you head up the stair. I think you always, in design, guys, you always want to ask yourself why and have the answer. Why am I putting this here? Well, I need some visual weight. Well, I need something to sit on. Well, I need something to hold the lamp that's going to be on there. Do you know why? Why is that artwork going into that stairwell? Just to do it, or you saw it on Pinterest and it looked right on Pinterest. You might have seen a little snippet of a room on Pinterest, so it looked right, but in total context of the room, you might think, oof, that looks really busy in that foyer. That's what I think. I think you've got to answer the why, okay? So hopefully I supported you well there. Steve Hoffman's telling me last two questions in big letters, so he's serious. He's serious here. All right. Kristen Cole Home on Insta is saying, is it okay to have artwork overlap millwork in the dining room? I get this question a lot. For example, one rectangular art piece centered on the wall. Yeah, so when people have all that shadow boxing, yes, I don't think you have to respect the shadow box. Sometimes you can, if it's a big shadow box, but I think you can make yourself bananas. I think when chair rail is very prominent, that is hard to go past. If it's going to pitch your piece forward, that's tough. For example, in my own home, in my kitchen breakfast area, our kitchen breakfast area, Steve has ownership of this home too, but we have a very high chair rail, a kind of Cape Coddy, and it juts, fairly forward. So breaking against that, Kristen, would be dumb looking. It would be goofy looking because it would swing the art piece off the wall so much. So any art I have there is above that rail. But what you're describing in a dining room, usually that picture frame molding is flat enough that you can just look past it and hang. So yeah, one nice big piece centered on the wall. Yeah, why not? Yeah. So hopefully I helped you, Kristen. And if you need a follow-up, babe, put that right in and I'll get you in, even though Steve Hoffman said last two questions. All right. Replying to Jane. Jane is saying, try maps. I like that. Yeah, why not? Do maps. Brenda's saying, what type of color of window treatment? That's off topic. Last question on artwork. Kathy's saying, does artwork color have to match color going on in the room? Okay, so Kathy, I talked about that earlier in this Facebook and Insta Live. I think that if you want a fantastic end result, you should be mindful of context of the color as well as subject matter / style of what you're putting into that room. So answer is yes, I think. Unless you are doing, as I said earlier, uber modern, minimalist interior, white walls, museum white walls, and the space is so monochromatic and it's all about the art, and the art collection is so eclectic, from abstracts to oils to, from abstracts rather to, landscapes to mixed media, then, have at it. You're really making this collage statement of your artwork, but in what you're describing in most interiors, I think you really want to kind of be aware of what you're doing and why. All right, guys, good grief. There's still a ton of questions coming in. Joan's saying, I'm moving in a few weeks, packing up all my artwork. I have a lot of small pieces, suggestions other than gallery wall. Yeah, I like them. I like them on bookcases, small pieces. They look great tucked in with books. They look great, you know, leaning on a tabletop or on a small stand. I think they look great in bookcases. And you know what? As you move, you might find that some artwork just doesn't make it to the new space. Sometimes something you've got to have a sacrificial lamb. Not everything looks great everywhere. And if you're downsizing, you've got too much art, you got to do something about that and find new homes for it, okay? Let me tell you what we're talking about next time. All these great questions. We might have to do another one of these Facebook and Insta Lives on art because you guys had a ton of questions. Please know the Artwork Cheater Guide, it's available for you. I think you guys would love it and find it really high value and very productive. So check it out. Taking it out of the vault for our non-students as well, because I said to my team, it's that good, really, we should make it available to everybody. So for a limited time, we are. So take a look at that link in bio for you on Insta, or the link that we've posted in Facebook. If you are not following us on Instagram, girls, what are you are missing a party. You are missing the party at decorating.genius. That's at decorating.genius to find us on Instagram. Can I give you a shameless pleading plug? Please follow us. We are a heartbeat away from hitting 10,000. And once we hit 10,000, we have the swipe right feature, whatever the heck that's all about. I don't know, but everybody on my team is really excited about that. It's the little things. And if you missed any portion of this, don't forget you can find us on YouTube at The Interior Design Advocate. So listen, next week, you're going to like this one. Next week, well, I know you love today's, right? Next week, we're talking about the current design trends. So bring your design trend questions. I'll have another little giftaroo there, actually, at the end of that for you, too. Or I think it's great, a little something. But anyway, the current design trends, we're talking about them next week. Bring your questions. We are ready to talk to you and help you in any way that we can during our Insta Lives or Facebook Lives every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern. We are here, and we hope you will be too. Okay, lovelies, great seeing you. Great being here with you. I'm sorry if I didn't have time to get to your question. So appreciate your joining. Big hugs to everybody. Bye. Hi, this is Donna. Thanks so much for watching. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and comment below so I know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to the Interior Design Advocates channel so you don't miss any of our great content.